up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am finally back with a review for Love After Lockup. So, I've been off for a few weeks because I just hadn't really felt like doing Love After Lockup, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to go back and play catch up. I watched this Friday's episode and the past two Fridays episodes. So I'm caught up, but I'm just not going to go back and get caught up on it. I might talk about some stuff, probably won't. But without further ado, this is episode number 30 of season 2, which is technically, it should be season 3. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Alright, so the episode. I'm going to first start with Lacey, Shane, and John. Technically, it was just Lacey this week. John came in the end of it. But we got Lacey, so she's back from her trip with Shane. You know, she's seeing her kids, and her dad asked her, so how was the modeling job? She's like, the modeling job? It was, I put on clothes, and it was really far, and I'm like, girl, just be like, Dad, I need to pull you to the side and have a conversation with you that I went to meet an inmate that I had never met before. Like, Lacey's voice irritates me, and Lacey irritates me, period. Lacey is stupid. So, yeah, her dad wanted to know about the modeling job. So then, we saw another scene where, excuse me, y'all. We saw another scene where her dad asked her, like, when is the last time that you talked to John? She's like, well, right now, John is on lockdown, so he can't really take any phone calls. Nah, bitch, you're ignoring his phone calls. And your daddy can see right through you. He's like, you're getting kind of distant from him. She's like, yeah, he's just on lockdown, and there's a lot that I have to think about. So, he could be Harlow's dad. And her dad was like, what? She's like, yeah, so when I was with my ex-husband, I hooked up with John around the time that I got pregnant. So I don't really know who the father is. I'm like, wow, you're a ho-hum. No shock there. No judgment either, but damn. Actually, yes, I am going to judge her. Because I don't know how old Harlow is, but Harlow thinks that your ex-husband is Harlow's father. I don't know if Harlow's the boy. Well, Harlow's one of her sons, I guess. So your child don't know, like, you don't know who your child's father is. So what you going to say if it turns out that John is in fact your child's father? You're like, oh, well, I didn't know who your dad was, so John is your father, but again, I didn't know, so you can't be mad at me for that. Like, is that what I'm just, Lacey, I don't know who's worse, Lacey or Cheryl. They're both equally stupid, and we're going to talk about Cheryl in just a minute. So then lastly, with Lacey, we see Lacey, she's with her daughter, and she has her engagement ring. She's like, the little girl, she's like, do you think I should marry John? And the little girl says, yes, you should marry John. She's like, okay, well, I'm going to go visit John. Then she calls John. Well, John calls her, because she didn't call John. So I'm getting ready to come visit you, so, like, you'll be seeing me in a little bit. I need to tell John that I'm seeing Shane, and, things are going to get really bad. Lacey. She's dumb as fuck. But we see her, she does go see John, and that is actually where the episode ended this week. So, we're just going to move over to the next stupid couple. Alright, so the next dumb couple is going to be Cheryl and Josh. So, we see Josh. Josh goes over to the hotel room that Cheryl is staying at. And, she's asking him how did he sleep with that ankle monitor on his leg. He's like, you can kind of move it just a little bit. So then we also find out that he owes $85,000 in restitution because he got into a few high-speed chases, totaled out a few cars, did some damage in the city. So he owes restitution. And he's like, to start out, he owes about $40 a month. But unfortunately, Josh doesn't have a job, and Josh does not have a driver's license. Josh won't be able to get a driver's license for a while. He definitely has to pay down some of that restitution. And then Cheryl comes up with the bright idea, you should pay $100 a month. With what money? With what job? And Josh made a valid point. Without a driver's license, he cannot get a freaking job, and without a job, he can't pay his restitution down. Like, damn, that is kind of fucked up though. So, like, what kind of job is he supposed to get? Like, I mean, I guess he could get like something like that pays under the table, but with him being an ex-con, he would have to have a legitimate job that gives him like a paycheck stuff. So, damn, that limits his options. No, it really doesn't limit his options. Cause I know there are a lot of places that will hire ex-cons. I know like the Goodwill will hire an ex-con. Cause I used to work at the Goodwill when I graduated, when I was in school. So yeah, the Goodwill will hire you because we had a lot of ex-cons that worked there. All of them were cool. Some of them went back to jail. One in particular, oh god, one in particular I know is back in prison because he did something so stupid. I think he robbed somebody. Cause yeah, I think he robbed somebody. So he's back in prison. But yeah, I know the Goodwill. But again, you just have to have a driver's license. Maybe he can get a temporary, like maybe he can get an ID card. I don't know. That's interesting. That is interesting though. So, then Cheryl tells him that she'll pay for it. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? I just answered my own question. Yes, she is. Like, he tells her, like, you're getting belligerent. And she gets upset with him. She's like, I don't want to have this conversation in front of the cameras. Let's go. Oh, you're not coming? Then she comes back and it's like, well, I don't want to argue with you in front of the cameras. That's fine. He's like, well, I don't want to argue with you either. So, she does eventually calm her ass down. And he's like, and they are good. Then we saw this little small scene where they went to the bank to open up a bank account for him. I cracked up laughing because he was like, so me opening up an account that doesn't have anything to do with my record. She's like, no. She's like, what were you in prison for? He was like, for robbing a bank. She looked like, where's the panic button? Collusion. Set it off. I love that movie. But yeah, she was looking like, oh, okay. Should I call the cops? And then she's like, yeah, give us your money. He's like, yeah, that used to be my motto. I'm like, oh, are you serious? That used to be my motto. Oh my God, I cracked up when he said that used to be my motto. I'm like, really? That's not something you want to say in the bank, but okay. Okay. All right, guys, next is Gloria and Alex. Man, I'm so mad that I did not review that episode where we met Gloria because, man, I would have cracked up laughing. I cracked up laughing with this episode right here because Gloria is 4 hours until Alex is released from prison. So she's leaving early to go get there before, anything, just get there ahead of time. So Gloria got these balloons and she's stuffing them in the car. And I noticed one of the balloons, I'm like, Gloria, you do realize that the balloon right there, that big one, that big silver one, I'm like, that balloon is deflated, Gloria. But I guess Gloria didn't care. So Gloria gets in the car and Gloria is driving. And Gloria is, she starts crying out of nowhere. And then, she's like, oh my God, my makeup is running. I'm going to look bad for him. Then she started crying about her makeup. I'm like, oh my God, Gloria. Now, the thing about Glorietta, because I'm going back to I'm not going to review it, but I'm going to talk about the episode that we first met Glorietta at when she met her mom and she told her mama about Alex and how he made up a song for her. And that song that Alex made up for her, I was like, well, what the fuck is this? Well, when her mama, when Gloria said he comes from a good family, she says, Glorietta, Ted Bundy came from a good family. I'm like, good point. But I don't think Alex is anywhere near Ted Bundy. But goddamn, man, the fact that Glorietta kept crying, she cried in the car. She cried getting in the car. She cried in the car driving there. Then when she realized her makeup was running, she cried about makeup. Then when she got there and took them the other balloons were inflated, but that one big silver balloon was deflated. I'm like, Gloria, you do realize that balloon is deflated? Like, let that balloon go and keep those. So then she goes to the door. She's crying there. I'm like, Gloria, it ain't that deep. You're gonna see him. I mean, you could be like Andrea, which we'll talk about Andrea in a minute. You could be like Andrea. Oh God, the fact that this fool is crying. So then, she tries to get in the door with them balloons. I'm like, them balloons gonna pop. I was just expecting for them balloons to pop. But, she does go in there. And then, the guy told her, he'll be outside. So she goes outside. She's like, those are gunshots. I'm like, you goddamn right, those are gunshots. I'm like, I would be trying to be like, do I really want to pick this motherfucker up? Huh, not enough to get hit by a stray bullet. But eventually we do see Alex. He comes out. And Glorietta is all giddy about this. I'm like, man, you would think Glorietta ain't never had none before. You would think Glorietta's a virgin, the way she's acting. So she asks Alex, like, what do you want to do first? He says, well, first I want to spend some time with you, but I also want to turn up. Now, here's the thing for me with Glorietta and Alex and Lizzie and Daniel, which we're going to talk about them in a minute, but for them to just be coming out of prison, I wouldn't think that they would be able to drink. Because I would think they would have to go to, like, some AA meetings. I know they're not alcoholics, but they would have to go to some, I would just think they wouldn't be able to do a lot of stuff right off the bat. Like, even when you go to a halfway house, you can't go to a bar, you can't do anything. So, the fact that Alex wants to drink, and the fact that Daniel has drank, which we'll talk about Daniel in just a minute. But, yeah, I just find it kind of weird that they want to drink. Like, I know you guys, like I said, I know they're not alcoholics, but my cousin, when he got out of prison, he had to go to AA meetings. I didn't understand it because I'm like, you didn't go to prison for alcohol. You weren't an alcoholic. But I understood it, they just came from prison. Why would you send a ex-con to a bar? Why would you want them in that environment? But, I could be wrong. Who knows? All right, so next we're talking about Andrea and Lomond Roy. Technically, it's just Andrea. So Andrea is trying to figure out like what to do, what's next between she and Lomond Roy because, like I said, I've missed 2 episodes, but Lomond Roy is not getting out of prison no time soon. So then she meets with a detective who worked on Lomond Roy's case, and she just wants to know like what's going on. Why was he released? Like she was like, he won his appeal. He's like, yeah, he did win his appeal, but that didn't mean anything. Winning an appeal just means that you get to take your case to court, which even I knew that. I don't know how Andrea didn't know that, but again, I have family members that have been in the prison system. You can always win that appeal. What you do, you file for an appeal. That appeal is either approved or denied. If it's approved, you go to court, you fight your case. If it's denied, you have to wait again to the next time when you can go up for appeal. Like, I've had family members who's gone up for appeal, went to the court, got that, judge was like, nope, going back to jail, and they have to wait they have to wait however long. I just don't understand how Andrea didn't know that just because you get an appeal doesn't mean that you're going to get out of jail. But, so she asked the detective, like, so what do you think about Lomond Roy? He says, to be honest with you, if you were my daughter, I would tell you to run the other way. He says because there's a top 10 list, and he said on his list, Lomond Roy is number 5. He says because he feels like with Lomond Roy, once Lomond Roy gets out of jail, he feels like Lomond Roy, he'll do good for a little bit, but then eventually he'll revert back to what he was before, and then he'll just push her to the wayside. And, he also just feels like, Lomond Roy is a menace to, Dade, not Dade County, whatever county that they're in Florida. He feels like Lomond Roy is a menace. And to be quite honest with you, I can kind of see it. Because at one episode where Lomond Roy just kept calling her a bitch, I'm like, damn, you ain't got to call a woman a bitch because she's half naked. I mean, she got the shit on her titties and her cooch, but you kept calling her a bitch. I'm like, yeah, he still has that aggression in him. You could hear it. You could literally hear that aggression. All right, so next is Daniel and Lizzie. So Lizzie dropped Daniel back off at Teresa's house. So, Teresa's like, oh, so are you happy to be home? Daniel's like, no, I'm really not happy to be home. And she was like, why? He says, because it's small here, it's cramped here, it's quiet here. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But then Daniel talks about how, he and Teresa have gotten into it over the years, and mostly because Teresa doesn't mind her fucking business. Which, what mother really minds her business? no matter how old we get, no matter how old we get, our mothers are always right there. Like if my mom was still living today, and I'm 30, if my mom was still living, she would be instrumental in my life. I know she would be. And even before she passed away, because I was 27 when she passed away, I'm like, Mama, you realize I'm 20, because I was 27. I'm like, you realize I'm 27, right? She's like, I know. She said, but you're still going to always be my baby. My baby, my child. You're always mine. I'm like, I get it. So, and as far as Teresa comes, I definitely 100% understand Teresa more than anything. And I don't understand why Daniel doesn't see. But all Teresa is doing is worried about his well-being. Because, she's talking about she doesn't feel like Lizzie's been honest. Now, I don't know about that part, but the other stuff that she made, the other points that she made were very valid about Teresa, about Lizzie, my bad. Like the drinking, she's not necessarily saying that Lizzie is an alcoholic. What Teresa is saying is the fact that you went to prison because you made some less than questionable decisions when you were drunk and high. So she doesn't want you to be around that influence. And I definitely 100% get where Teresa's coming from. Like if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, why would you want to be around someone that does that stuff? Like that's I'm gonna say me for instance. Like if I'm dating somebody that's in prison, I know they went to prison for drugs, alcohol. They murder some. Well, I want to be with somebody who murdered someone. No offense, but someone who is just has a. I mean, we all have a past, but if I was with somebody who was an alcoholic or a drug addict, the last thing that I'm not an alcoholic or a drug addict by no means, but what I wouldn't do is if I know that this person has this problem, especially with drugs and alcohol, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna drink around you. I'm not gonna smoke weed or whatever. If it's weed, heroin, I don't do none of it. I don't do heroin. I don't do crack. I don't do none of that shit. But if I did do that, then I would be like, you know what? I'm not gonna put you in that environment because I don't want you to relapse. I don't want you to go back to prison. I don't want none of that. So I definitely get where Lizzie and not Lizzie, but Teresa's coming from. I understand Teresa, but it also does feel like she is bashing Lizzie. Like, yes, Lizzie drinks, but Lizzie also has her head on tight. She's in school, she is working. So Lizzie's not 100% bad. So it's a catch-22 because I definitely, like I said, I get both sides. I get Teresa's side of it, and I understand why Lizzie feels the way Lizzie feels. Like I said, Lizzie is in school, she's working, but she doesn't drink, and it might just be recreational. So I definitely see both aspects of the coin. Like, so I'm not gonna fault either one of them. Y'all, if you take a good long look at Daniel, he looks like Gus from Recess. Like he literally looks like Gus from Recess. Now, Teresa's other thing was when it comes down to Lizzie, Lizzie never once visited him when he was in prison, and she never wrote him when he was in prison. Now, let me answer that. I can answer that question too. I think Teresa is being a little bit judgmental, to be quite honest with you. I just feel like she's been very judgmental of Lizzie. The girl is in school. So the girl's in school and she's working. So you want her to say fuck school and fuck work, lose money. Like, because if she goes to visit Daniel, that means she would have to take a day off from work to go see him. So does that mean that you're going to give her money that she's losing from work to go see Daniel? Is he going to do the same for her? I believe not. So I understand that. And then if she misses class, like she can get far behind. So for Teresa to be upset about that kind of shit, I'm like, you tripping. You really tripping. This, like I said, this girl has turned her life around, and now here you are with this bullshit. Fuck out of here. But like I said, I do definitely get the whole aspect of the drinking. I definitely understand it because Teresa doesn't want him to revert back and doesn't want him to go back to jail. Which Liz said that can't happen. Yes, it can. If he was easily influenced before, just because he's a little bit older doesn't mean that he can't be easily influenced. So yes, it is very, very, very possible. But we're gonna move on to the last couple who I just don't understand. And then lastly, you guys, Vincent and Amber. So we see Vincent and Amber, they're in a car, they're driving, and Vincent gets a phone call from his grandmother. So he, his grandma, I guess his grandma asked him like, what was he doing? He says, oh, I'm doing an assignment in Georgia nonetheless. How about that? And Amber's like, okay, you working? Is that what we're doing? Well, he is working on this show, but okay. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So then we see him. He drops Amber off at this nail shop, and she's meeting with her friend Michelle. Now she says she and Michelle grew up in the same area. They lived in the same area, but they never knew each other until they both went to prison. So then she's sitting down with Michelle getting a pedicure, and she's just telling Michelle how it's kind of awkward things between she and Vincent. Now I don't. When it comes down to it, you can't 100% say it's all Vincent that is awkward. It is you as well. Like Amber, you are in love with Puppy. You want to be with Puppy. Like anybody can see that shit. So I want her to stop trying to make it out that it is all fucking Vincent. It is not all Vincent. It is you, my dear. You have a part to play in it as well. So then, she just mentions how, she thinks his family knows about her, but she doesn't think his family agrees with him being with her. Then she also says that, his grandmother just called. He told his grandmother he was working, but we both know that that's not the case. And then, she says, her friend thinks that he's a con artist. I'm like, who is he conning and what is he getting out of it? Because she told him about him adopting Puppy, which I'm like, how can you adopt someone that's an adult? Unless they have like some debilitating disease. Not debilitating, I didn't even say that. I didn't mean to say disease either. Like they have some kind of disability. That's what I meant to say. I didn't mean to say disease. Like they have some kind of disability like Asperger's, not Tourette's. Asperger's, what are some other ones? Asperger's, oh God. I'm drawing a blank. Asperger's. That's the main one I can think of right now. I'm trying to think of the other one. But yeah, unless they have some kind of disability where they can't take care of themselves, then I understand that. But Puppy doesn't have a disability. So I'm kind of confused by that. But the fact that she said that maybe he's trying to con her out of money, wouldn't it be the other way around? Like, how is he gonna con her? What does she have? She's an ex-con. She just got out of prison. So he just bought her a bed, for God's sakes. What is he conning her out of? Please tell me what he's conning her out of, ma'am. But you guys, that was Love After Lockup. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. And going forward, I will be back either on late Friday night or early Saturday morning. But see you later, guys. I'll actually see you guys later tonight I don't know when I'm going to put Power Up, but I'm doing Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine.